Good morning. Good morning. Our minute permission was brought to you today from the Cuyahoga County Sheriff's Office. We're talking about the Autism Special Project or Support Project. And today we have Sergeant Dan McDonald with us. I know the bulletin says Donald, but it's Dan. Thank you, Dan, for being here. Hold the mic closer.
Good morning.
Good morning.
And thank you. Feel free to call me Dan. And I noticed in your work said Donald McDonald, at least my parents didn't name you wrong. This morning, I'm fortunate enough to be able to come forward and talk to you a little bit about our project. The Autism Support Project is something that we created. Thank you. If we could go another one forward, please. Thank you. That's my contact information. If you have any questions or anything, and really what I always like to afford is if you're trying to figure out which department in the agency to contact for whatever various concerns you might have, you can also go ahead and email me or call me at my office, and I'll be glad to put you in touch with whatever area serves your needs. What we did was in 2022, I've been teaching on the subject privately on law enforcement, fire, and EMS, interacting with individuals with autism since about 2005. In 2022, my agency came to me and said, hey, we'd like to make something operational for here in Collier County. So what we did was we moved forward with that project and we found tremendous success. And we expect more in the future. As you can see, if you're not familiar with what autism is, it's a speech communication disorder. Social interaction is part of it as well. 40% of individuals with autism never develop speech under duress or anxiety. Another 35% has very limited, maybe 1 or 2 word responses. So you're talking about only 1 in 4 individuals with autism have a means to communicate, especially with first responders. There's other alternatives, which you'll see here in a second. But you see some of the characteristics there. Unbelievable in most cases, a very high pain tolerance. Strength is also something you'll see. But there's no physical indicators. It's not like some other disabilities. So it's very hard to identify. And what we do is we train first responders on how to recognize that without a conventional interaction. So what we did was we designed 3 areas. The project is built on training, education, and support. Training is what we provide to first responders. Education is what we take out into the community through business partnerships and training opportunities to various civic groups. And support is what we bring back to families, to the local school system. We do some parent training. We work with areas like Golisano and All Children's Hospital in St. Pete. One of the things that we do is we provide decals. These decals go on, what we do is we tell families, if they contact me and ask for 1, I give them 3. And the reason why I give them more than what they ask for is because I tell them put it on the window of the door. The individual most commonly rides in the car. Secondly, we tell them put it on your front door. We give the disclaimer as long as HOAs are okay with that. But put it on the front door because it doesn't matter if it's a first responder coming to the residence or if it's the Amazon driver looking for a signature. What that does is it conveys to them that there's an individual that may answer the door and it may not be a conventional interaction. The last one we give is we tell them put it on the bedroom door because a lot of times where you or I, under the stress of, maybe we smell smoke in the house or maybe there's something wrong and we would vacate that area until we knew it was safe. An individual with autism, when they go out and they're confronted with all of the stimulus, fire trucks responding, ambulance, loud radio, bright lights, interactions with people they're not familiar with, they'll abandon their concern about safety and they'll introduce themselves back into the residence. So the reason why we put that on the door is we tell them it's important not to just go in and do a visual search. We encourage first responders to look behind the bed, look under the dresser, look in the closet, and make sure nobody had introduced themselves back into the house. The decal that you see now, that's our business partnerships. What we want to do is we want to support local businesses, and we also want to support families with individuals with disabilities going into those businesses. So we have working relationships with companies, and they'll put that decal on the door of their business. It conveys to families of individuals with disabilities that there's an understanding with the employees and management and ownership of businesses that if something were to occur inside the business, they're built into a support component to help the family. So one of the questions I always get is, okay, this is good information, but how does that affect us locally? So what you see here, this is the numbers that you see in yellow. Those reflect, since I started teaching on the subject in 2005, 2006, we had 161 students in Collier County Public Schools. This last year, we went over 1,000. So what that does is it's conveying to first responders, this isn't something that you're going to see randomly. This is something that we're going to be interacting with every day. What I do is I get a notification on my phone and at my desk every time we have an interaction with somebody with a disability. And what it does, it affords me the opportunity to review the notes of the call and see what we have as a resource that we can provide back to the family. The reason why Lee County numbers are on that, and I'm sorry, I talked with my hands, so I'm throwing my assistant back there off a little bit, I apologize. So I'll keep my hands together. But the reason why we put Lee County numbers on is tomorrow I'm teaching in Lee County to first responders up there, and I wanted to show them, you can see the numbers are pretty much double of what we have down here. So just in Lee and Collier County, you know, we're looking at over 3,000 families. So, one of the things, another component that we have here in Collier is, and we share this program, we created the program, but we share it with any law enforcement agency that wants to utilize it. And it's called CARE, and you can see that it's an acronym. And it's self-enrolled. We don't have to ask people, you know, because of busy schedules and tourist season and stuff, we don't ask them to come down to our office. They can go online. They can utilize an online registration component. It'll get forwarded to us. We handle all cases. The unit I'm in, we handle all cases involving autism-related registrations. And we also share this information with police and fire and EMS. So if EMS gets a call for a little bit more than 40% of individuals with autism have a seizure-related disorder. So if EMS gets called to address that type of medical concern, any information that we have, we can share with them just to make them better prepared as well. That's just a demonstration of what the screen looks like on a CARE profile, and you can see through those tabs, it's a great resource of information. It tells us secondary diagnosis, any resources they need, like if they have a service dog or if they're oxygen dependent. Some of the other things that you might see, because as I mentioned earlier, there's no physical indicators, these are just different means that they utilize to communicate. What you see, the lanyard with the little white cards on the ring, that's an acronym called PECS. PECS for Picture Exchange Communication System. You'll see the notebooks they use, the picture of the dinosaur there and the blue colored ring. Those are silicone and they look like just costume jewelry. But what we teach first responders is if you see something like that, get a closer look and see, because a lot of times they'll chew on that to help lessen the anxiety. What you see at the bottom right, those are called care kits, and those go out, Collier County EMS puts out 41 ambulances a day. Every one of those has a support kit for individuals that have sensory issues to help lessen the anxiety if they have to be transported by EMS. Why do I teach on this subject? This is my son, Terry. Terry's 22 years old. He's been in Collier County Public Schools. He just aged out earlier or in January. So, but we utilize every resource that we've been talking about, everything. He's nonverbal. So he has to rely on alternative technology to be able to communicate. And after service, I'm going to be in Kemp Hall. If you have any questions, and we have a handout that explains the program.